What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today is Gwensday. We just got a new patch, but it is still Wednesday, so I almost forgot, but wanted to still put out a Gwensday video for you guys. This is something I played about a week ago, and it was a pretty fun Gwen video. And yeah, I figured I'd show it off for you because it is Wednesday yet again. The passage of time has blessed us with another Wednesday, and we are going to play another Wizards Familiar game this week. You see a Wizards Familiar in the shop, might as well Knighthood it. I do try to keep these Gwen videos like pretty straightforward for the most part and not do anything like super silly, so that kind of just means if you see a Wizards Familiar, should you Knighthood it? Yes. I mean, we already know that that's the answer, but it's always helpful to get some more data and figure out what powerful things you can do while Knighthooding your Wizards Familiar. So here we get to cast a Magic Research and get ourselves a 6/6, so that's pretty sweet. And I'll just backline this goat, trying to just play the strongest board to keep that +1/+1 from the Magic Research. But the fact that we also have a 6/6 upgraded unit at this point in the game basically means, I mean, we could lose to a Humpty Dumpty or something like that, but for the most part, we're going to be pretty powerful with this 6/6 on the board, and it does look like that is going to be enough to win us this combat here. I guess we could have tied if we... Would that have been a tie? Yeah, we were actually pretty close to tying there. So it did get a little bit close, but we are going to get that win. I'll cast a Shrink spell. I do think I want a Humpty Dumpty so that we can keep on winning, and I am going to cycle through this unicorn and then lock the Polywoggle. So I do that because I want to lock the Polywoggle because it only costs 1. I don't really need the Polywoggle this turn because we're on 2.2, and I'd rather pick it up next turn so that way it can slay and get us an early 4-cost unit. And I don't want to pick up the unit. The unicorn unit. I don't want that in the shop even. So let's just get rid of it. Just now realizing, I guess unicorn and uni both have, that same base of 1. But there's just some random musings for you. We are going to win this combat pretty commandingly here. Hit Cursed King for 4, and that's the strength of Gwenning a Wizards Familiar. We're 40 health, moving into 3.0. We are facing off against another 40 health competitor here, a 40 health Loki, so they are definitely high rolling, but so are we. We do have an important decision to make here. We want to cast this Sugar and Spice, and do we want to cast it on a Brave Princess this turn, or on 3.0, a Brave Princess, or do we want to cast it on a Sleeping Princess? I decided to go for a Brave Princess because it is 3.0, and there is a decent amount of high roll potential in trying to get this treasure from Brave Princess. So kind of a tough call. Could have just gone with a 9/9, potentially would want to do that against a lobby leader in the Loki, but I do feel like we potentially have enough pressure already just from the Wizards Familiar. So, like I always talk about, using your pressure to try to establish leads in other areas. Now I'm going to see if we can't grab ourselves a treasure by the fact that we already have a little bit of a lead. And this combat works out great for us. We get the Brave Princess Slay, and we get the Polywoggle Slay, and it turns into a Nutcracker for another treasure for us. So pretty fantastic. Genie's Wish could give Wizards Familiar +4/+4 here, so gotta go for that. It rolls into a Kidnap, and then we still have some options for what to pick up. Mad Mim's kind of cool with Brave. Stag also kind of neat, and just a powerful option. We could take Stag and then roll a few times, potentially try to find some doubles or triples of some of the other things we got going on. We could just take a Mad Mim because it'll be strong eventually, though it's not super strong right now. and I decide I'm going to roll some more Humpty Dumptys. Could actually be really good because we're so far ahead that we could make this into an egg game potentially, but we'll see what else we get up to. We do see another Wizard's Familiar in the shop, but this isn't a castable spell, so I don't particularly want to lock for this one, and I'm also not doing anything with the donkey. I don't think that this one is worth locking. I know the game, I guess last week or 2 weeks ago maybe, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I just combined a bunch of Wizards Familiars really early on. I do think that that was cute, but in general that's not something that I'm trying to say is like a strategy you want to be forcing or anything like that. But this combat looks like it is going pretty well, and honestly, we get, yeah, another Slay with Brave Princess. So pretty fantastic stuff. We only got one hit on the Nutcracker, but our treasure here from Gwen is Crystal Ball. Treasure map is cool because we could potentially activate the Nutcracker and get a tier 6 treasure pretty early on in the game. However, I'm not going to pass up a Crystal Ball when I've already got a Wizard's Familiar. So that is the plan, and now we got to figure out what other things we're going to do in order to make our spells cheaper, because we've got the ball, now we want the hat, or we want some way to create econ. And Prize Pig really does both of those things. It is a 3-cost treasure that can potentially find Merlin's hat, and it is also econ at a point in the game where we are really strong. I do find the other Humpty Dumpty here now too, so I'm trying to see if we can pick that second egg up, and I'm thinking, well, I could sell the tiny and the goat to pick up this Humpty, but I could also just try to work on this spell stuff rather than sell 2 units just to pick up another egg. Could also just play this egg just to have it be a stronger unit, and that's what I am going to decide to do. Basically, the egg is here to protect the pig and just give us a little bit more frontline oomph. And you can see that egg denied Vampire Slay and traded with a Kitty Cut Purse. So pretty good value off that one little egg. Hopefully could mean that our Prize Pig survives. Actually, yeah, there's no way our Prize Pig is surviving that one, unfortunately. We do tie the combat, though, and the egg certainly helped, but we do donate just a wee little bit of gold to my opponent. We will have to find another unit now to put on the board. Lady of the Lake would certainly look really good in this position, this open slot that I have on the board. I'll take this golden chicken for the time being, though, and then I find Lady of the Lake. So it's basically exactly what I was looking for. It really works well to support the stag and the Nutcracker, while also being a ranged unit that the stag gets to pump up. Then I will take a Falling Stars, which also gets to pump up the Nutcracker, and things are looking pretty good. So we've got an 1818 from the Wizard's Familiar. That's pretty strong. And then Stag bumping up to ranged units. And we are making Nutcracker live pretty soon. Spellweaver is going to go down, and our Stag will die to Sherwood Sure Shot, but Nutcracker will get 2 more triggers. Well, 1 more trigger from combat plus 1 trigger from the Court Wizard, and then we actually deny my opponent's Court Wizard attacking again by not killing their frog, and we are able to win the combat. So again, donating some gold, but winning the combat, fair trade-off for us. I do see some other things that could be a little bit interesting here. The Monster Book will also help us to grow our mages because we are not able to cast too many spells per turn. And then there is also Greedy, which could provide some econ. And then there's also Trojan Donkey, which is a pair that could potentially help us find hats. So a lot of different options in this shop, a lot of shoptions here, and things to choose from. I also only really have 1 more space on this board with which to play another important unit. Unless I guess I cut the Stag. I could cut the Stag and put the Greedy in there and then put the Monster Book in slot 4. That is not the craziest idea. I don't actually remember exactly what I do this turn, but it does look like I am at least gearing up to take the Monster Book. Am I going to go for the Greedy, though? No, I'm going to go for the Trojan Donkey and then roll a little bit more. So that's the plan. And I find another monster book. So that's not too bad either. I'll Genie's Wish right before the turn ends just to get a few more stats out on the board. But now we're kind of scaling up with monster book rather than scaling up with traditional spell plays. But there's definitely still ways to make this work. Nutcracker is going to get us a tier 4 treasure. Hopefully that could be Forking Rod or Moonsong Horn. Both of those would be quite good for us. And then we just have this backline of ranged units plus a Brave Princess to help secure the combat there. Hitting Muerte for 9 down to 6. Nutcracker is not going to give us any of the key spell treasures, but Deck of Many Things will still scale our board. So it is probably worth considering. This is definitely feeling a lot more like a traditional Gwen Wizards Familiar game, despite actually having the Crystal Ball. We haven't made too much use of the Crystal Ball until this turn. This turn, I am just going all in for the Crystal Ball. Main reason for that is I am thinking that next turn I'm just going to find Aeon. That's probably the game plan at this point. So I am not going to stress out too much about not having any like important uses of my gold this turn or anything. Probably don't want XP either, though we are up against the Ghost. Okay, yeah, that's too tempting. I'm going to grab this Wish Upon a Star. The fact that we're up against the Ghost, we can just guarantee that we're going to get 2 XP for 5 gold. Now, I don't think that Mages necessarily has to be an XP-based comp, but we can certainly make it work here, and it'll be pretty powerful for us. And we could see that... I don't think this player has added anything to their board. Yeah, this Trophy Hunter, I think we played against them, and that was their board, and then they gave up or something, or disconnected. But either way, we are going to get the win there, and now our goal is to look for Aeons. True Love's Kiss, pretty interesting. We could use that on Sporko potentially. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely reasonable. I go for it, and we get Aeon. So, yeah, pretty reasonable indeed. Now we don't have to look for Aeons, we just have it. So pretty lucky stuff there. We're definitely going to want to hang on to this Aeon, and I'll just cast a few more spells, but that was pretty good. Now, if we can cast some spells, pump up this Aeon a little bit, and that gets to Slay, then we are really killing it, and we'll have Hat Ball going into 6.0, at which point we're really just looking for Storm Kings and I guess some other mages. I'll sell the donkey to cast some more spells because I don't really care about the donkey at this point. I don't need a hat. We've got Aeon. So things are definitely looking good, and let's see how we're doing up against this Cursed King. Aeon is going to get the Slay, so that is hugely important. Oh, by the way, our Wizard's Familiar is up in the 70s, so really, really powerful. It is going to get scammed by that Rotten Applewood, so good for my opponent for that one, but not good enough. We are still going to be able to take them down and, yeah, eliminate this Cursed King. And we are sitting on 41 health in undefeated Gwen going into 6.0. So there you go. Pretty good showing here from this one. We're basically going to be able to wrap it up. I mean, I could have purchased this Doom Breath because we're hatballing and we're so early in the game that we might have been able to shred the rest of the lobby by picking that up. I see another Aeon. Yeah, sure, I'll take it. Why not? We'll go up to 42 health with another healing potion. Then I see another Spellweaver, and then I might even sell Brave Princess just to buy the Blessing of Athena, because that actually provides a lot of stats. With the Aeon, all of my mages get +4 attack from casting, well, +5 attack. They get +5, +1 from Blessing of Athena there. So that newly purchased Spellweaver is actually a 714 already. And then the monster books are also going to pump up everything because we've got these Aeons. So pretty powerful stuff. I definitely want to play my Wizard's Familiar, and Potentially want to play my Aeons in some combination. Might want to just play the monster book so that way we get even more scaling. It's a little bit tricky to figure out how to fit everything in there because we just have so many great things that we can do. Aeon is going to get a slay on the good boy, and then we've got to battle through this Prince Arthur. My opponent's got a pretty large Arthur here, but I think we're going to be able to deal with them. We pigomorph one of their court wizards, which is nice because now they're only getting one bonus attack, and I think that's going to be enough. But court wizard's big. Court Wizard's definitely big. We are going to get through, though. I mean, our Wizard's Familiar is just bigger. And we remain an undefeated Gwen. So, yeah, just a pretty dominating performance this game. Obviously, we got the Crystal Ball. We got really lucky on the Aeon as well. But I felt like I had to showcase this game still just because of how commanding of a performance I was able to put together with Gwen, and that's really just going to come from knighthooding on your Wizard's Familiar. That's always going to be pretty good. I feel like I could dream here. We're giving up a little bit of gold by not using the crystal ball for the rest of our stuff, but actually I decide against it. I look over on the sidebar and I see that Merlin is still alive, so I'd rather see if we can't eliminate Merlin first and then try to dream, because then we have the chance to dream into Merlin, and that could just be a lot better for us. I think about locking for the 9 Sea Terrors, but not going to do it, and I'm also not going to do it for the 4th monster book, considering we're not really playing that unit right now anyways, and probably just going to stick with these units for a little bit. We've got a solid ranged lineup in the back line, and then a bunch of Aeons. We do want to combine the Aeons at some point, so I would like to pick up a Storm King for our 7th unit, but the rest of this is looking pretty good. Our 2nd Aeon is also going to get a slay, so we've got some cheap spells again this turn, and then we are going to deal some damage to this Snow Angel. Not quite getting a kill, and Merlin also does not die, so we've got a little bit of work still to go for this game as we face up now up against Loki. Could take a Lady of the Lake. I'm really just concerned on spending all my gold rolling for spells and rolling for Storm Kings, though. I think that's just the best use of my gold at this stage of the game. Could go for True Love's Kiss on the Wizard's Familiar. It's not the craziest thing in the world, but I don't want to give it up just yet. We'll keep scaling that as much as we can. A Knighthood, also kind of spicy, but Storm King. We get a Storm King. That's sweet. I could also sell Aeon plus my 2 monster books to pick up this Storm King right now. That's probably right to do. Yeah, let's go for that. It just adds a bunch more stats to the board. I can cast this Drink Me potion, and then I guess I'm done. So I'll Kidnap or Spinning Gold or Fog or Ride of the Valkyrie here. Probably just Spinning Gold. I feel confident that we're going to keep winning. We haven't lost yet, so I'll bet on myself here with the Spinning Gold, and hopefully we can take this lobby down soon. I think trying to just make myself as strong as I can every turn is definitely going to help. That's part of the reason that I sold for this Storm King, is because it's going to be really good to just keep winning and keep that pressure, keep that momentum against the rest of this lobby. We did fail to slay with our upgraded Aeon, so that is a little bit scary, but we've got ranged units up against dwarves, so we are still going to get the win. We're going to get that Spinning Gold, but we are going to have a little bit more of a difficult time casting spells this turn, unfortunately. So this could actually be a good turn to dream. I'm considering taking the Lordies just to give the Loki more Lordies. Pick up a Baby Root and a Flourish and a Stone Skin. No monsters to cast that on, but I feel like that is a fine use of our gold. Golden Chicken is actually a great pickup here because it allows us to use our gold potentially next turn. Now here is a Dream, so that seems fine. Beauty doesn't do anything. Trophy Hunter only does something if I can find. Ninth Book of Merlin, it's kind of win more. I do consider it. And I'm really considering Trophy Hunter, but I think the pick here, if I'm being honest, it is Morgan Le Fay. Just in case something goes wrong, we'll be able to grab some treasure. So I take Morgan Le Fay here. It's probably not going to matter too much, but I'm thinking, you know what, it's probably better than taking Trophy Hunter just for the chance that I triple Storm King and then get Ninth Book of Merlin. Like, if those things happen, we're probably already winning anyways, so I'm not going to worry about Trophy Hunter. We get a Shrivel on a Court Wizard, and we do get the Slay with Aeon, so that is a great start to the combat, because we are going to have Hat Ball on the next turn. And it does look like we will be able to take Merlin out here with our Spellweavers, hitting them for 12 damage. So now we're in the finals against Loki. They are Dwarven, and we just got to finish the game. So that's basically all she wrote. I will take this Drink Me potion and just cast some more spells, put some Beauty's influence on something here. It's fine on the ranged units. It's also fine on the Aeons. You really can't go wrong. We're just casting some spells here, and that's all we can do. I could dream again, but this time I've got a bunch of gold that I can make use of this turn, and we actually triggered the Aeon, so it's much more beneficial to actually just keep rolling and casting spells and increasing the power of the board on the turn where we do have this bigger Aeon discount. So that is the plan that I am going for, just rolling away here, and this is possibly the last combat of the game if the Wizard's Familiar survives, so I'm going to sell my Golden Chicken and just roll and try to cast a few more spells. And we get a Shrivel, too, as our last spell of the turn, which is great because Shrivel could potentially get their Lordy or their Echo Wood if they've found any of those. So, yeah, Shrivel can do a lot of work. And we are going to get a Crafty. They don't have too much going on here, to be totally honest. So it looks like we should be good. It's just going to be their Reduplicator plus their Mimic Chest and then their Doubly in the back. So when their Doubly dies, they are going to summon 2 more Doublies because of the Phoenix Feather plus Mimic Chest, and that is actually going to mean that we tie this combat. So we've still got a few more combats to go potentially. They do have really good Dwarven treasures, so that is something that we are going to have to battle through a little bit. I feed Baby Root to the Kraken. Could pick up Cupid. Cupid quite decent against the dwarf stuff that my opponent has going on. It's just good against dwarves in general. Could also put Storm King in a croc bait, but I think that there are just better uses of our gold if we just continue to roll down. Just rolling past all of these Aeons, I don't think that they are going to be super relevant here, and I don't want to spend 5 gold on a unit on what is potentially, hopefully, the last turn of the game. So just trying to cast as many spells as possible and seeing what we can come up with. I'll cast another Drink Me potion, and we find a bunch more targeted spells in this shop, up to 43 health, 43 undefeated health. Don't really care for that Spellweaver. Let's just roll 44 health, undefeated as well. Pretty crazy stuff. And let's see if we can't end it. Well, my opponent found an Echo Wood, so that is a little bit scary, but my opponent kind of messes this up as well. They would have a really, really good board if they used the Mimic Reduplicator on the Echo Wood, but they wind up using it on the Tweedledee, so they are still going to summon 2 more Echo Woods here, which is pretty big. But it could have been a whole bunch of Echo Woods with the Reduplicator. They are actually going to win, and we don't get a perfect game. Just the Mimic Chest plus the Echo Wood is just a really nasty combo, plus the Phoenix Feather, I mean. So we're just going to try to cast some more spells, see what we can do. we are still like casting a spell from deck of many things. We're potentially rolling into some relevant combat spells that we could use to take out their Echo Wood as well. So we definitely have some avenues to victory as well. We can also just continue to get a little bit bigger every turn and potentially overpower the Echo Wood in that way. So you can see we were 75% chance to win there. So we just gotta get there. We just gotta make it happen. Aeon is still going to slay, and you can see my other Aeon slays as well. My Wizard's Familiar is just trading like 3 for 1 against my opponent's board, and then all of these Tweedles resummon. And the one thing is with all of those Tweedles summoning, those do all give additional stats to Echo Wood, so that is pretty good. And same thing's going to happen here. My opponent is going to summon 2 Echo Woods to end the combat, and then I am not even going to be able to take down either of them. So they actually hit us for 8 that time, down to 29. And all of a sudden, yeah, my opponent is feeling pretty powerful. I don't think that I want to do anything with that just yet, but this is a pretty big power spike. We can Knighthood my Storm King, cast another spell, and that makes the Storm King pretty considerably bigger. It is interesting to consider, though, because we just didn't do anything with all of our gold that turn except, double the power of one of our units. But I do still think that that is quite good. But I always go back and forth on that. Is it right to Knighthood the Storm King? We shall see. We're going to trade with both of their doublies with our Aeons, and now Storm King gets to take out my opponent's Echo Wood, and luckily for them, they now get to reduplicate her Echo Wood and summon a whole bunch of them. So, like I said, I think that that is the better route for my opponent to go, because look at all of these Echo Woods, and I'm a little bit afraid that I might have just let my opponent know how they can win. But this Morgana is actually going to come in handy, and I brought up the 9th Book of Merlin before. That was the perfect treasure for us to find, because now we can potentially scam my opponent. Now we are casting 7 free spells each turn, and all we have to do is find a scam for my opponent's Echo Wood before they can summon 4 copies of it. So we've got a pretty dynamic game here, and I was kind of being a little bit cheeky earlier in saying that this was an obvious, clear-cut, perfect game. We still had some game to play, and we are going to be able to do that now. So I thought that made this a pretty fun one. The fact that we had the perfect game, but then there was actually still some stuff that we can do, and there's actually still more stuff that we can do. I'm going to take this Medusa, throw a Wormroot on it, and cast 1 more spell even, and then I'm going to throw this Medusa in against my opponent, because Medusa is quite good at potentially getting rid of my opponent's Echo Woods. This does mean that we are going to cast 1 last spell. I was really considering flipping the Medusa with the Spellweaver, but I figured I would just lead with it here. We now see that my opponent has combined their Echo Wood, so they are going to get a rather large Echo Wood, and with that in mind, we are going to have to backline this Medusa, because now we are relying solely on scamming this Echo Wood with my 9th Book of Merlin, which is certainly possible, but short of this scam, they are now about to summon 2 huge Echo Woods, and that is going to be really tough to battle through. You can see we've still been scaling. We have a bunch of really powerful ranged units here on the back line, but my opponent has definitely been scaling as well. They're going to hit us for 12, down to 5. And 5's an important number because it means that we trigger our Morgana, and now I could pick up a Wand of Weirding, and I can toss this Crystal Ball. On the last turn of the game, this is definitely going to be the last turn of the game. I don't really need the Crystal Ball. Definitely don't need Merlin's Hat either. And now I am looking for just any spell that we can double cast. I almost cast this this spell right here, the Stone Skin, before realizing that we don't have the Crystal Ball, and I feel like it's fine to combine my Spellweavers because that is going to allow us to put Aeon back in, and it does mean that we play down a ranged unit, but it's going to allow us to play 7 really strong units. And then we even have an 8th really strong unit as I'll lock this Storm King in the shop. But then I realize I actually don't want this Storm King in the shop. I just want to roll for more Pigomorphs next turn in case something goes wrong. We did find the Pigomorph, kind of talked over that part, but we are going to get to Pigo 2 of my opponent's units, and we hit the Tweedle, and we hit the Echowood. So really, really wonderful hits for us, and that is going to lock the game up and allow us to get the win. My opponent then summons a bunch of extra doublies, and despite turning the, well, it doesn't really matter. The health total doesn't matter because all of my units are just so large that, yeah, it's not really going to be a factor here. But we only hit my opponent for 14, believe it or not. So we still have one more game to play, and I'm really glad that I didn't lock that Storm King, because now the plan is let's roll for a castable spell and let's give it a double cast. Probably don't want to be dreaming here. I probably just want to find Pigomorph. Drink Me Potion is great. This will give us a lot of chances to find Pigomorph. All we find here really is a coin and a bunch of targeted spells, unfortunately. So I'll keep rolling, looking for Pigomorph and then also Shrivel. This was played on the previous patch, obviously, and that means that Shrivel is still a really live spell to find. And, well, I guess here I'll settle for It Was All a Dream. We do get to double cast it, so maybe we could make something fun out of it. We do find Muerte. That is one of the better things that we could find. I was also somewhat looking for Trophy Hunter again at that point, despite passing it earlier in the game, but Muerte might be the next best thing. It means that our first unit that dies is going to cast 2 spells, so we're still casting 7 spells, and then we also have this backline Muerte. But this combat is going to be a lot closer because we didn't start off just by totally pig scamming my opponent out of the game. We will get some pig scams throughout this battle, but this one is just ultimately going to be a whole lot closer. However, our Medusa gets to attack into my opponent's Echowood, and then we take down the Echowood and they summon a bunch of statues just to kind of add insult to injury there. All we have to do is clean up their statues because that was their last unit that then is getting Mimic Chest Reduplicator Phoenix Feathered, and that, of course, is not going to be enough. But that is going to be the end of this one. A pretty fun game, and definitely showing the power of dreaming late game into a Morgana, and playing to, you know, what could possibly go wrong. Well, maybe one of my opponents is able to put something crazy together and deal some damage to us. And that Morgana got us the 9th Book of Merlin and that Wand of Weirding, which allowed us to double Pigo and allowed us to double dream into this Muerte. So pretty fun game, all things considered. That's going to be it for this one for me today. Happy Gwensday and enjoy the new patch yet again. 4 videos today, kind of crazy. Hopefully this video still gets out in time for Gwensday. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.